You're not Cheech.
Yeah. Of Cheech and Chong. I'm Cheech of Cheech Marin.
Yeah, well, that's the difference. That's the difference.
Nothing lasts forever, Tommy. You know, nothing lasts forever.
Oh, I don't know. Cheech and Chong seem to live on forever. You're invited to take one last ride with one of comedy's most iconic duos. Cheech and Chong's last movie hits theaters today. And for today's edition of Good Day Pop, Adam Gerke and I actually sat down with the pair and chatted with them about their new project and their groundbreaking careers. Check it out.
Comedians, musicians, thespians, political activists, Cheech Marin and Tommy Chong. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
We weren't lesbians. Just way that.
No, for a minute.
Well, for a minute, yeah.
Well, hey, you know, I mean, we all experimented back in the day.
One night, you know.
So, guys, I got to say, for Adam and I both, we are massive fans. So it's a real pleasure to speak with you. And what I love about this project is it's talking about your journey. And from what I was reading, you two met up the road in Vancouver as part of an improv group. But you were both more focused on music at the time, apparently. So how did you guys veer into comedy?
Because our music wasn't that great. But as good as our comedy was.
Yeah.
In fact, when the comedy group broke up, we got fired, actually.
By his brother.
So Cheech and I put a band together. You know, he was the singer, I was a guitar player, and we had a bass player and a drummer and a piano player. And we entered a battle of the bands in Vancouver, but we never got around to doing one song. We started off with comedy, and we ended with comedy. And the band was waiting to play, and they said, "When's our next gig, boss?"
Well, maybe not.
That was it.
You know, so I can recite, I mean, honestly, I can recite your entire debut record by heart because I listened to the thing over and over and over. Did the characters that you created, did it directly come from your improv work? How did that happen? And were the Stoner guys just one character that you guys were playing? How did that all come about?
Yeah, there was just one character or two characters that we were playing, and they evolved over the course. They started off as two different guys, and when we got to LA, they changed it to the Chicano and the lowrider. I mean, Chicano and the hippie. So we kept improvising until we found the perfect tone, or it got in tune.
Well, depending on the audience. And when we started our career, it was a TNA, you know, a titty bar. Oh. And we had a lot of bikers and, you know, businessmen and all that. And so we had to do a lot of sex kind of jokes in that. But when we got down to LA and we started doing the circuit, you know, the comedy circuit, there were, like, we played at one dance club where the people had to stop dancing to listen to our comedy. Well, and they weren't going for any of the Canadian stuff that we were doing. And so the second show, we wrote the bit for the characters that ended up in smoke.
That's a great question, though. With comedy, that's kind of a fickle thing. When you two are working on your material, number one, who makes each other laugh the most? And number two, how do you know when to call a scene between your characters? When do you know you've hit that sweet spot?
Oh,
when they start to laugh.
The audience will tell you.
If they laugh, it's funny. If they don't laugh, no matter how much you think it's funny, it's not funny. You know?
Why do you think people connected with you guys the way they did and the way they do?
We were them. See, that's the whole point. When we were in Canada, you know, playing the horny guys and that, you know, they weren't really, it didn't affect them that as much as when we became the stoner kid in the Chicano. And once we did that, LA, a Chicano comedian in Los Angeles,
sure,
hit right away. You know, you got a huge audience. And then LA, Chicago, New York, the whole world.
Right.
And we represented the lowest common denominator.
Now, Tommy, you're actually a skilled guitarist, but your work on Earache My Eye, your drumming prowess is illustrated in particular, your stick work. That stick technique is amazing. The Google machine's been of zero assistance of where I can find drumstick like yours. Where did those ever come from?
Same place you found the little cape to wear.
Well, you know, we used to do a bit called Alice Bowie. Well, I did the bit first, and it didn't go over that well, you know, and I wasn't comfortable with it. But Cheech saw me dress up, you know, like with a ballet outfit and everything else, and Cheech is kind of like, oh, I want to wear that. And so,
I know ballet. I am ballet.
and so we're just so opposite, you know, and that's what creates electrical energy, by the way. Positive, negative, and that's Cheech and Chong. You know, sometimes we'd switch.
Yeah, sometimes we're positive. Sometimes one of us is positive. Sometimes the other way. Well,
yeah,
Right.
but it's very serendipity, by the way. You know, it was meant to be. We were meant to save the world, and that's what we're doing.
You know what? In my mind, you did. So thank you for that. And we love you
You're
guys.
welcome.
Cheech and Chong, it is a pleasure. Thank you.
But you got to do us a favor.
What's that?
You got to see the movie, last movie.
Dude,
Cheech and Chong's last movie.
I'll probably watch it over and over and over again,
have
just
to
like
see
all
it.
your records, man. I mean, of course I'll be
more
watching
important,
it.
I want you to pay over and over.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
that's the great thing about movies.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
You guys be good.